Good morning, everybody. It's September 26th, 2024. And boy, do I miss the days of YouTube from a decade ago where you didn't have to be a sound a sound coordinator or, someone who works in a studio. You guys, this is complicated. Here we are, 12 years into this, and I'm barely figuring out how to set up a mic correctly. A couple of you said, hey, Casey, your S's are sounding really harsh. Well, that's called semblance. So I learned about that yesterday. I had to go back in and change. I had to upload like an EQ. Now, I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining to you how difficult this is. And unless you have someone that's naturally talented in getting into all the backside of this, it's just going to sound weird, and it's not going to look right. It's not going to be produced correctly. And now you look at YouTube, and I don't know how these people do this. They're editing. They've got studios with mics that are all perfectly set up. They sound like rock stars, and they've got all this editing. They must have an entire team of people, and it's just me here, and I'm trying to figure all this out. So thank you so much for everybody who's been patient over the years with all of the technical issues. I was never, ever a techie, and I've had to learn all this by myself, try to figure it out. So here we are. How does the mic sound now? Are the S's less harsh than they were in previous shows? People are like, wow, the S's are so sharp, you guys. But I hooked an EQ into it that was supposed to fix it. I worked on this for several hours yesterday. Today is September 26, 2024, if I didn't already say that. And today we're going to expand on the entire Apollo duality aspect as it applies to Epstein and P-Diddy and the takedowns. One white, one black. Did he do it? Well, the evidence says that he did. And does adrenochrome have anything to do with all this? Epstein, EpiPens. This wordplay on this stuff is crazy. This is the package insert from the EpiPen. And as you can see here, epinephrine solution deteriorates rapidly on exposure to air or light, turning pink from oxidation to adrenochrome, and brown from the formation of melanin. Right out of the package insert for EpiPen. So, yesterday's show where I showed you all of the pink and brown, this is what it's about. So, what's up with all this wordplay? Are these all psyops to hide the real sacrifice happening in the underbelly of America? These are the questions that we all have to ask, right? These are logical questions. Now, let's start to break all this down, this whole duality thing going on. Because you have to ask yourself, why are the number of days between the two arrests, how do they exactly equal 5 years and 2 months? There's that 52 number again, isn't there? 5 years and 2 months. In fact, it's exactly 1,899 days between Epstein's arrest and Diddy's arrest. And that 1899 number even matches up with a weird TV series that came out in 2022, about halfway between the two arrests, called 1899. Many of you remember this. We decoded this. 1,899 days, about halfway through the two arrests. Epstein was arrested in 2019 and Diddy arrested in 2024. So what was this about? what was this TV series about? Well, it was about a ghost ship infected and possessed by a black mold. And at the end of the series, the ship passes through a portal to an alternate reality, to a dualistic reality. So all of this stuff fits in together, doesn't it? These themes of opposites and duality. Why is this? Well, it's because we are in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. We are in the tree of duality. This is how the devil tricks everybody. Now, we're also going to get into some celebrity updates surrounding this Diddy indictment. All kinds of grumblings from different people that were involved with him. There's also, I don't know how they did this, but they put together an entire documentary that's supposed to be coming out in a few days, headed by 50 Cent. He's going to be, narrating this documentary. So there's a lot going on. Now, let's start with this whole Apollo aspect to this trafficking thing. Apollo was the god of disease and cure, as I've repeated many, many times on this channel. The god of male and female as well. He actually had a twin named Artemis. Artemis was his twin sister, and of course that's the name of the program, the space program that Trump set up, Apollo and Artemis. Now, Artemis kind of represents the moon aspect of Apollo. She's the opposite but equal. And so there's this African American or black aspect to Apollo as well. As you can see here, DC Comics knew about this. They depicted Apollo as blackened in none other than comic number 52. And there's that number again. 5 years, 2 months between the two arrests. 52 comic is when Phoebus Apollo Prime Earth, the blackened Apollo, appeared in DC Comics. I don't know what year this was, but I'll put links to all this for you guys because there's something to this. Now, we already know what the 52 is. It's the new fire ceremony every 52 years. But there's more to this. What other black aspects of Apollo are there that prove that this is the root of this whole concept of this duality? Well, here's the infamous Apollo Creed from Rocky, played by Carl Weathers. He just passed away. Nobody knows why. He just dropped dead. Picture of health. Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. What else is there? What other black aspects of Apollo are there? Well, of course, the Apollo Theater, known for igniting black performers' careers. Many black performers started off in the Apollo. So, how does this white-black aspect of Apollo apply to today's discussion? Well, we've seen this bizarre duality aspect emerge in our reality with these white and black sex traffickers, white and black presidential candidates, opposite yet equal, each representing extremes of each color, which of course further divides the rest of us who subscribe to their thinking. So today's discussion will center around Diddy and Epstein, as well as Trump and Obama, which are also Apollo opposites. Now, here's the latest on Diddy. Apparently, in addition to his freak-off parties, he was doing other stuff. Ready for this? They were called white parties. Are you awake yet? I hope you are. Because Black Diddy did white parties. Here's the scene here. Here's a young Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know how old he is in this image. He doesn't look very old to me. But here he is, all posted up at one of Diddy's white parties. Now, we're going to read a little bit about this. A lot of white people showed up to these white parties. And you could look at this as, oh, well, Diddy was trying to bridge the gap. You know, he was trying to, like, you know, reach out to the other side and bring the races together. You could look at it that way, I suppose. But I think this is more about Apollonic Freemasonic witchcraft. The duality. And this is where we get into, of course, the duality of the Freemasons, the checkerboard floor, turning things on, turning things off, the black and the white, the chessboard. This is what keeps everything in opposition to one another. This is how they control it, because they are the chessboard. In the minute that you see yourself in opposition to someone or a group or a person, you are already a pawn on their chessboard. Now, before we read this article and talk about Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's now on the chopping block because he got caught lying, understand that Trump does the same thing. Let me go back into the chat, check in on you guys, and we'll talk a little bit about what Trump does. He does the same thing. And it's not for the reasons that you think. Trump has surrounded himself or interacted with, in a kind of an unnatural way, a lot of black rappers, Kanye West at the White House, Kodak Black, and many others that we've covered. It's just weird, isn't it? It doesn't look natural. And then going back, we have all these images of him with Diddy across 2 or 3 marriages. Diddy was there in the background. So this isn't a pick on Trump or pick on any side. We're talking about the duality of all this. You can see that all these people are opposites yet equal. So it's in reverse. Now let's read about these white parties. And then after this, we'll get into Justin Bieber. I've got some video of him breaking down, talking about what happened to him. We'll get into all that today. Now, it's important to talk about celebrity news sometimes. We don't spend a lot of time on it, but this is the stuff that's programming everybody. It's not programming you and I because we're awake to it. But if we don't talk about it, then you become programmed by it. You start having feelings for these people. You start feeling sorry for some of these people. I mean, we can pray for them, but the minute you start taking sides and all this, you fall right onto the chessboard. Now, what was going on at these white parties? Well, let's read this. Leonardo DiCaprio distances himself from Diddy as their white party pics emerge. They were not freak-offs. Leonardo DiCaprio seemingly reacted to his appearance at Sean Combs' white party. Photos of this almost amounts to a modern toga party, doesn't it? Because remember, the togas were all white. So, a source close to DiCaprio claims that he hasn't been in contact with Diddy for years and never attended any of his freak-offs. Amid recent arrests for alleged sex trafficking and racketeering, several A-listers with ties to him have faced intense scrutiny. The photos of DiCaprio drinking, smoking, and laughing beside the rapper at one of his parties in 1999 have emerged. Tongues are wagging regarding his relationship with Diddy. However, a source close to the 49-year-old movie star told the Daily Mail that their relationship has suffered in recent years as they've not been in contact for a long time. And DiCaprio says he never attended the freak-offs. It has nothing to do with him. I mean, this is cringy. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird, right? I mean, look at this image. They're like all cozied up. I don't know. Leonardo DiCaprio has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. The source said they were not freak-offs. But then, look at this video here. And I'm not going to play this, but this is an old video from 2017, in which they asked Puffy Combs who is the number 1 person on his white list party invite list. And he said, Leonardo DiCaprio. So, even though there's no confirmation he went to the freak-offs, he was the number 1 person on this list of this party where all these people showed up. So you got to ask yourself, what was going on here? I don't know. But let's hop on to Justin Bieber. I want to play this video here. I think that I can play this one. Justin Bieber in tears over past trauma from the music industry and resurfaced 2020 interview. And he was, of course, under the spell of Diddy for a while, under scrutiny. Now, currently, about how he grew up in Hollywood. Let's play this video here. Hopefully this will play up here.
Being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
A 2022 interview from Justin Bieber has resurfaced in the wake of Diddy's legal drama. In the sit-down with Zane Lowe 4 years ago, Justin isn't talking about the disgraced media mogul directly, but his past trauma in the music industry, his album Changes, and being a newlywed to wife Haley.
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff in my past.
Living in the shame from the past. Now, he's not being specific here, but, you can put two and two together.
And I wasn't able to move on.
Talk of the video comes after footage of Diddy and Justin also resurfaced on social media recently.
Not anyone can just be in the position that I'm in.
Video shows Diddy alongside teenage Justin, leaving people to speculate if, at the time, he subjected the pop star to his alleged freak-offs.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
You won't hear about my party. They're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time.
So that, of course, was Diddy predicting his own arrest. Now, here's the weird thing. Okay, adults have the right to go off on their own and do this kind of stuff. I guess the crimes that they're alleging took place was his control over people. I don't even know how you'd prove that. People have the right to do drugs. This is what people were doing. They're saying he spiked their drinks. Well, how do you prove that? Unless you have video evidence. And I'm not standing up for Diddy. I'm not saying this is abhorrent behavior. This is not something people should be doing at all. These are the sinners of Babylon, is what we're witnessing here. But wasn't it you had Epstein with these underage girls, and this went on for decades, and he was passing them around, and there were no arrests. And so this begs the question, is this how they're going to handle the Diddy case? Is he the only one to be able to go down, or are there going to be other people that are going to go down too? These are logical questions. Let's play a little bit more of this.
During the Zane Lowe interview, Justin breaks down in tears when talking about wanting to protect Billie Eilish, who at the time quickly rose to superstar status.
I just wanted to be a good example, and it was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody.
When it comes to...
And it's obvious, we all saw the transformation of Billie Eilish, so it's apparent that maybe some of the stuff that happened to Bieber happened to that person.
What Justin thinks of Diddy's allegations, a source tells ET Justin's not focused on what is going on with Diddy or the allegations against him. Instead, our insider says Justin and Haley are focused on baby Jack, whom they welcomed in August. They've been absorbed.
So, what else is going on? Well, Al B. Sure is making allegations now that Diddy's ex, Kim Porter, was killed. Now, apparently she supposedly died of some kind of pneumonia. But Al B. Sure is convinced that this wasn't natural. Now, we all know that they can put whatever they want on the death certificate. We know this, right? So, is it any surprise? Is it any surprise? Now, interestingly, this is all kind of pivoting and happening around the 9/23 date. This could be the 9/23 event for this year anyway, because this is huge. This is shaking down the entire industry, or they want us to believe. Like I said, is there going to be any teeth to this? It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. So what is Al B. Sure saying? Well, he says a week after the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs, New Jack singer Al B. Sure took to Instagram, details what he claims to be a vast conspiracy around the 2018 death of model turned actress Kim Porter, his former flame, and then after their split, the on and off partner of the freshly incarcerated mogul Diddy. On Monday, Al B. Sure detailed what he says was the work of multiple individuals surrounding Porter at the time of her death from lobar pneumonia, in 4 posts which feature images of the former couple and pages from their memoir. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Miss Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here to today. So they're saying that she originally was going to ring the bell on Diddy, but instead Cassie Ventura, which is of course the famed hotel beating video, which was Diddy's girlfriend, she's the one that came forward and finally got this guy arrested. Strange times we're living in, you guys. Strange times. Now, what else is going on? Well, people have questions about Mary J. Blige, too. Apparently, she's about to go on tour. This is out of the LA Times. Look at all the dates on these. 9/23, 9/23. Mary J. Blige's next tour is a love letter to fans, and some of them have questions. Mary J. Blige just announced her next tour, which sounds like it's going to be a love letter to her fans, but the announcement itself turned into a conversation starter about the reckoning that's roiling the music industry after last week's indictment of Combs. So people are asking her, what's up? Apparently she's associated with Neo and Mario, and apparently these two were very close to Diddy. People are like, why are you doing this? And they have questions. So people are these celebrities are going to have to say something, aren't they? They're going to have to speak up because things are getting really weird. So we just went through a lot of this 5 years ago with Epstein, didn't we? Except nobody went to jail except him and, well, allegedly him and Ghislaine Maxwell. Only the two at the top. And there should have been dozens of indictments, shouldn't there have been? And if that was any indicator of what's probably going to happen this time around, then I don't believe that there will be any other people pulled into this. 50 Cent doing a docuseries on Netflix. I don't know how they put this stuff together so fast, but apparently they probably have been compiling it for many years. It's a complex narrative spanning decades, says 50 Cent. He is obviously not a fan of Diddy, or he's pretending to not be a fan of Diddy. And there's going to be a whole documentary on this. Wow. Now let's talk a little bit about this duality of Obama and Trump. And we're going to come up with some solutions today as we close out the rest of the show. Obama and Trump, opposite actors of the same spectrum. Now, somebody scoffed at me when I said this a couple shows ago. They're like, oh, those two are nothing alike. Well, think about it. They're exactly opposites of one another, which makes them the same. Trump goes full retard, hitting all the white people triggers, and Obama does the same thing for black people, doesn't he? Trump's rhetoric is illegals ruining our country, stealing our jobs and tax dollars, thugs and Kamala's not black. Obama's rhetoric is black colleges, reparations, LGBTQ, and he believes blacks still don't have opportunities in America. It's intentionally divisive rhetoric that does nothing to bring each side together. Now, how would they fix their message to be a reasonable message that could unite America and get us moving in the right direction? Well, let me give you an example. If I was writing speeches for Trump, here's what Trump should say. You ready? I hope you're listening. Now I'm pretending to be Trump. Okay. I know black people have had a rough go in history, but America is working to make things better. Here is a pathway to opportunity for you. We have a border problem that is dipping into the pockets of both black people and white people. And we will come up with a solution that maintains American freedoms and privacy while securing our border. There are thugs from all races, and I will divert law enforcement to go after crimes affecting daily life of Americans rather than victimless crimes. Legal multiculturalism is what makes America great. And I fully recognize Kamala's multiculturalism, even though my opponent Kamala is liberal in her values, which I do not share. Wouldn't that be a much more unifying message where you could actually get a lot of Democrats to vote for you? I think it would be. Now, let's redo Obama's speeches. What would a less divisive Obama say? Well, he would say something like, we've come to the point in American story where there are doors for black people to walk through, to self-actualize their dreams. And in the first step in erasing the color boundary, we need to stop calling black colleges and clubs black. Because what do we want? White people having all the white colleges and clubs? Of course not. And I believe affirmative action, we've already been repaid for past grievances. And the scales have balanced out already. That kind of sounds like Bill Clinton a little bit, huh? Okay. What else would Obama say? He would say that affirmative action has already balanced the scales. And now to pay money out on top of that, all that would do was set us back again and continue to divide the races. He would also say most people are now aware that black people are equally capable and see color as equal. Most Americans have gotten to that point. So let's remove all the labels of white and black. Let's not mention it ever again in our TV shows, media, and news headlines. And let's just all start calling everybody Americans. And he would say something like, you know what? People have the right to do what they want in their private lives, but let's not let these adult lifestyles and sentiments that are outside of the moral norms of Americans creep into our children's schools and influence otherwise innocent minds. Right? I mean, this is just common sense, you guys. He would say, let the lifestyle that people choose in private stand on its own merit, not artificially pumped up in our media or the agenda. And I'm hoping with this little exercise that we just did that you are seeing how duality works. It's unnecessary duality. It's intentional to divide you, to get you to hate the other side. Now, I was going to combine the rest of today's show with Bodkin episodes. That, of course, is Obama's Netflix TV production company in the TV series. But I'm going to try to power through today to all the way to the end of the season of Bodkin and just do a full decode on that. I already have a couple screen captures of a corpse with 6 toes. Yes, a corpse with 6 toes in the Bodkin series. So they know this is all stuff we've covered, right? So, and then I'll power through to the end of the series. Let me go back into the chat here. Sorry for the horrible Obama. Oh boy. My Obama impersonation. Oh my gosh. Right? I mean, okay, so right? Was there any part of that you guys disagree with? What, isn't that more reasonable? My name is Barack. It almost sounds a little bit like Joe Biden mixed in there too. So we had Joe Biden, Obama, and Bill Clinton all mixed in that impersonation. My name is Barack Obama. I'll never forget when Barack Obama ran for the first presidency, and someone actually told me that I reminded them of Barack Obama. So I'm nothing like that guy. What are you talking about? Don't give up your day job. Yeah, it's always good to be a little, self-deprecating. I'm just on here trying to communicate with you guys and show you the truth about all this. And if we have to laugh on my, at my expense, then great. God forbid I pull my guitar out again. Some of you are not happy about my guitar playing. The main actor in Bodkin is Goofy. Yeah. His name's Powers. Yeah, guys, it's a really tough to watch. I'm in the episodes now where they're just trying to figure out what actually happened, and they're just asking all these people, and the story keeps changing, and I can't even follow all of it. I don't know how people watch this stuff. But apparently, some people loved the series. It got really high reviews. So, all right, you guys, that was about it for today. I just wanted to give some solutions, and we do a lot of complaining here, but we also come up with solutions of how they could bring our country together, how they could fix the problems. It's pretty easy if you use common sense, but they don't want to fix the problems. That's the whole point I'm trying to get across to you. The Apollo Creed is division. That's what it is. It's duality. It's black and white. This is how they maintain control of people. And so by voting for the extreme that you vote for, whether it be right or left, you're playing into their game. I love each and every one of you. I got to get out here and do some projects. I did put up some lights in the garage. I did a lighting project. So I'll show you guys that on Saturday's show. I'm going to go film it now. And I also have to do a weed. I got some weed fabric I'm going to lay down. Now's a good time of year to do it. For the weeds that are kind of going nuts around the blackberry bushes and stuff. So I'll do that too. And then it's opening deer season Saturday. And so I'm going to be sitting in the blind and get on that. So I love each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love.